Ọwọ́ ajẹ́ dandan fún wa. Ó sábì ẹjí yóò pa ọ́. Bàbá jọ̀nà mi nìre. Bá a ṣe nu afẹ́fẹ́ o. Bàbá jọ̀nà mi nìre. Báwa ṣe lọ́nà mọ́tò. Bàbá jọ̀nà mi nìre. Báwa ṣe lọ́nà rélùwé. Bàbá jọ̀nà mi nìre. Ọwọ́ ajẹ́ dandan fún wa. Ó sábì ẹjí yóò pa ọ́. Bàbá jọ̀nà mi nìre.
Our sun is constantly rotating and changing. The sun's outer layer, the corona, features events such as massive ejections of particles and energy, and disturbances called Morton waves, which ripple over the sun's entire surface. In this view, an instrument blocks the body of the sun so cameras can record the corona without interference from the sun's bright disk. Sometimes comets crash into the sun, disturbing it enough to cause explosive events in the corona. On March 6, 1957, Kwame Nkrumah led the British West African colony of the Gold Coast to independence as the nation of Ghana. The jubilant independence ceremonies and Nkrumah's inauguration as Prime Minister were attended by political figures from around the world. Ghana was the first black African nation to gain independence. Its achievement inspired independence movements across Africa in the years that followed. On December 19, 1998, Bill Clinton became the second United States president in history to be impeached when the House of Representatives passed 2 articles of impeachment, accusing him of perjury and obstruction of justice. The previous January, independent counsel Kenneth Starr began investigating allegations that Clinton lied while testifying in a civil suit against him. In his testimony, Clinton denied having sexual relations with a White House intern named Monica Lewinsky. In August, Clinton appeared before a grand jury investigating the matter after evidence indicated that the two did have an affair.
My goal in this deposition was to be truthful, but not particularly helpful.
In September, Starr delivered his report to Congress, alleging that the president had committed a variety of potentially impeachable offenses. Following the release of that report, members of the House of Representatives argued heatedly over whether to impeach the president.
What does lying under oath do to the rule of law? Do we still have a government of laws and not of men? Does the law apply to some people with force and ferocity while the powerful are immune?
The president had an affair. He lied about it. He didn't want anyone to know about it. Does anyone reasonably believe that this amounts to subversion of government? Does anyone reasonably believe that this is what the founding fathers were talking about?
After considerable debate, the House approved 2 articles of impeachment, making Clinton only the second U.S. president ever impeached and the first since Andrew Johnson in 1868.
The yeas are 221, the nays are 212. Article 3 is adopted.
In January 1999, members of the Senate were sworn in as jurors in a trial to determine whether or not Clinton was guilty of the charges against him and should be removed from office. As specified in the Constitution, Chief Justice of the United States, William Rehnquist, presided over the trial. On February 12, 1999, the Senate found Clinton not guilty of either of the articles of impeachment.
And 2/3 of the senators present not having found him guilty of the charges contained therein. It is therefore ordered and adjudged that the said William Jefferson Clinton be and he hereby is acquitted of the charges in the said articles.
August 1991, communist hardliners staged a coup attempt after Mikhail Gorbachev proposed greater independence for the republics of the Soviet Union. Boris Yeltsin led a popular resistance to put down the coup, and the Communist Party was suspended. In December, Yeltsin and other republic leaders created the Commonwealth of Independent States. Gorbachev then resigned, and the Soviet Union was officially dissolved.
I was sitting in the lobby minding my own business with my girlfriend, and suddenly 5 police ran in to get them the hell out of here, and they started clubbing me over the head.
Our police department is the greatest police department in the United States, and the men in there are all family men and decent men, and they don't respond with any undue violence.
From his rebel base in the Sierra Maestra Mountains of Cuba, Fidel Castro waged a guerrilla war against the government of dictator Fulgencio Batista. By 1959, Castro's forces were in control of Havana, the capital. Once in power, Castro transformed Cuba into a Soviet-style island state. He built an open friendship with the Soviet Union that placed Cuba in the center of the Cold War. Like many revolutionary leaders, Castro's power is based on both personal charisma and a tightly controlled political system that maintains his position.
This is a different kind of war. There are no marching armies or solemn declarations. But this is really war. It is guided by North Vietnam, and it is spurred by Communist China. Its goal is to conquer the South and to extend the Asiatic dominion of communism. And there are great stakes in the balance.
From 1914 to 1918, Europe was scarred by war. Soldiers fought from muddy trenches. They advanced through no man's land, trading small patches of ground for heavy casualties. They used new deadly inventions: long-range artillery, machine guns, poisonous mustard gas, and armored tanks. Submarines threatened the seas, and airplanes expanded the fighting to the skies. In early 1917, Bolshevik leader Vladimir Lenin began calling for the overthrow of the provisional government that had replaced the Russian monarchy earlier that year. On October 24th and 25th, armed workers and sympathetic soldiers and sailors stormed the Winter Palace, the government's headquarters in Petrograd, and deposed the provisional government. The almost bloodless insurrection, known as the October Revolution, brought the Bolsheviks to the forefront of the new socialist government. Political and religious strife between Protestants and Catholics in Northern Ireland has resulted in frequent riots in its capital city of Belfast. In the early 1970s, civil unrest caused the British government to send troops to the region to maintain order. Frequently, though, the troops themselves became the target of the riots. Already struggling from the hardships of the Great Depression, farmers in the southern Great Plains faced an environmental disaster in the early 1930s. In an area including the states of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico, and Colorado, severe droughts turned the soil exposed by farming to dry dust. Strong winds, natural to the area, blew the dust across the plains, darkening the skies and burying once productive farms. The region became known as the Dust Bowl. Thousands of farm families, their livelihoods ruined, migrated west to California. The much-revered Mohandas Gandhi was the spiritual and political leader of the Indian independence movement. When he spoke, millions listened. Teaching nonviolence, Gandhi used symbolic gestures like spinning cloth to advocate a return to village industries, and marching to the sea as a demonstration against a British salt tax. Jailed frequently, Gandhi was prepared to fast unto death to protest caste-based injustices and religious violence between Hindus and Muslims. Assassinated in 1948, his funeral caused international mourning.